Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Kharisma Adminanti. My ID number is 2032-1997. Today, in this time, I will present the analysis of the 7 articles. The first article is Prediction and Outlook of China Maths Education, written by Weiji Zhao, published in National Science Review, Volume 7, Issue 9, September 2020, page 1513 until 1517. Research problem number 1. How does high school maths education compare between optional course in China and advanced placement course in the USA? US high school courses are very flexible. You can select the course and difficulty you want to take. If you don't want to take much course in a particular semester, that's fine. I don't think Chinese high school courses are as flexible as American courses. Research number 2, how importance of mathematics for logic thinking and multiple science disciplines. Think maths training is not about calculus, trigonometric function, or any specific subject themselves. Many people do not need calculus in their life, but they do need to think logically, and that's what math education can provide. Mathematics is everywhere, even in our daily life. Number 3, how is the quality maths education in universities China? In the early 1980s, China mathematical research had a considerable gap compared with foreign countries, but there were a group of college teachers who had received strict training on the basic skill of mathematics, and they were well able to foster a number of outstanding students who majored in mathematics. Conclusion this article is one can freely choose the course you want to take, and one can choose the level of difficulty. I guess in the Chinese high school course are not as flexible as the American ones. In Chinese, the course of primary school and middle school are fixed, but there is some flexibility in high school. In the USA, AP courses are helpful for college application and can be recognized as university credits. My suggestion for this article is mathematics education in China according to the article are to cancel 12 choice question in Gaokao. Besides, it should probably give more autonomy to the university. We should allow the universities to run in their own styles that will bring more diversity and creativity. And then the lack of the article in this article, we only discuss one on two difficult and prospect for mathematics education experience by university in China. Even though it is possible that not all universities in China have similar problems. And then the second article is sustainable math education of female students during a pandemic, online versus face-to-face interaction, written by Hanadi Muhammad Abdul Salim, Maura A. E. Pilati, Amerji L. Mousa, published 6 November 2021. Research problem number 1. Are there differences between online and face-to-face interaction? That's an test and homework assessment grades in the face-to-face and online mode were submitted to a one-way ANOVA with mode of interaction of the as the between subject factor. Problem number 2, does initial performance predict class grades in online and face-to-face course? Separate linear regressions analysis were carried out for online and face-to-face course with preliminary performance in this the grades of the test 1 and assignment 1 as the prediction and class grades serving as the outcomes variable. The Pearson correlation coefficient on the last column of the table indicate the relationship of each predictor with the outcome variables. And then research problem number 3 is online learning a sustainable option in the future of higher education. Noted that the sit up of the learning environment, whether online or face-to-face, may be the key ingredients of optimal student performance as measured by final course grades. During the pandemic, adjustment by instruction and student to new online formats, technical constraints, and institutional weakness may have created obstacles in the online delivery model for some, but not all users. Our result, along with others, seems to support the idea that the model of instructional delivery per se is not a significant factor in student learning outcomes if the setup of course in this and then conclusion in this article is the test of homework assessment. The test and homework assessment grades in the face-to-face and online model were submitted to a one-way ANOVA with model of interaction as the between subject factor. And then my suggestion for this article, the finding of comparison between online and face-to-face interaction, including hours, can be used for the development of training modules of faculty to ensure that students enrolled in online course receive a quality education. And then the leg of the article, this study has limitations that may limit the generalizability of the research as well as the absence of direct evidence on student views and reactions to emergency dispatch teaching. And then the third article is math teachers' perspective on using educational computer games in math education, written by Muhammad Demir Bilet and Susan Lematema, published 2020. Research problem number 1, how to use educational games in math education. Abraham mentions that computer games are a strong motivation tool for math lesson. Students in math and on the motivation of high school students. Experiment group increase the grades in math. In terms of motivation, there is no significant difference in both. Games in math education is suggested by the teachers who attend to the research. And then research problem number 2, what are the problems caused by using computer game in math class? Of the teachers mentioned some problems in classroom management caused by in-class computer game utilization, and they state the control of the class may be lost. Many teachers tell that among the problems caused by computer game utilization in lessons, there are deviation from the goal of the lesson and losing the priority of maths and thinking the lesson as only time for playing games. And then this is problem number 3, how and why to utilize computer game in math lesson, this category there with findings about how and why to utilize computer games in math lesson. Most of the teachers express that computer games could be employed that when student attention level is low, the lesson. And then conclusion in this article is some of the teacher mentioned some problems in classroom management caused by in-class computer game utilization, and they state that the control of the class may be loose. My suggestion for this article, I think this article is good because it discuss the use of the games in mathematical learning. And then the lack of the article, in my opinion, this article does not explain in detail in the research on how the relationship between games and learning mathematics. And then the fourth article is stereotype treats among girls difference by gender identity and math education context. Written by Bettina G. Gassab, Patricia Hell, and Faye Al Watch. Published August 28 to 2017. Research problem: how important it is for one to place gender as part of one learns self-concept. And then number two, how is standard test according to the student grade level? Math test items were developed by a math educator based on standardized tests appropriate for the student grade level. And then conclusion of this article is math test items were developed by a math educator based on standards that's appropriate for the student grade level. That is, for 7th grade, the math item focus on algebra problem such as negative 3x plus 2 equals negative 7. Solve for x. For 8th grades, the math item focus on problems involving graphs such as writing the equation for a line with slope 5, the best drop the level. My suggestion for this article is the author can give their estimate for future research method for effort to increase discussion with youth as a way to maximize the generational. And then the lack of the article, in my opinion, this article does not explain in detail the research on how gender identities differ and the text content of learning mathematics. And then article number 5, development of an exploring system in integrate approach to children's math education in China. Written by Fu Junji, published July 27, 2021. Research problem: what is the exploration of algebra? What is the exploration of geometry? And how to exploration of the relationship between algebra and geometry. This relationship within algebra are also of great significance. To illustrate the relationship among digital number and algebra, we designed and realized 23 tools in total this technology. There are 12 interfaces in this part, including the interface for geometry favorite, measuring cup, protector rules, quarter isosceles triangle rules, 30-degree acute and just rectangular ruler, reading ruler, area grid, and its coordinating translation, method rotating, and flipping. And then conclusion in this article to illustrate the relationship among digital number and algebra. We design and release 23 tools in total in this technology. 3. The relationship between object and algebra in one of a essential relationship. In order to explore the relationship between the physical object and digital number, we design and release 104 tools in total in this technology. My suggestion for this article, I think this article is good because it contains various aspects related to space exploration in geometry and algebra. And then the lack of the article, in my opinion, is this article does not explain in detail the research on the different exploration of the relationship and between algebra and geometry. And then the sixth article is experience of classroom teachers on the use to hands-on material and educational software in math education, written by April Kuke, Habibi Guns, and Zulfikens, published 2019. Research problem, what is Legometromaths or EMTM? It introduced and provides practice in mathematical processes, including understanding, fancy, problem solving, and reasoning, short, individual, and team problem solving expression. And then number 2, how is the level of teacher knowledge about MTM? The study most participants start that they had never heard of MTM before. For example, T10, before this research, I know that robotics studies with Lego were done, but I don't know that primary school students could use mathematics. Number 3, how to integrate MTM into school. Generally states that MTM should be used in course because of the concretization of abstract concept, increasing the participation in the class. They interact in the course with material appealing to all activities. Because if a course always use the same material to give example, it will become boring and monotonous after time. Number 4, what are the concerns in mathematics teaching? Then 2 of the teacher that they all start that they encountered various problems in mathematics teaching. In addition to this, the student interact and motivation is low with distraction difference in class student levels, rejects again the mathematics course and less time for the curriculum. And then conclusion in this article is other than 2 of the teacher, they all said that they encountered various problems in mathematics teachings. My suggestion for this article is the author can be asked about the good use of technology for students in learning mathematics. And then the lack of the article, in my opinion, is this article like the style in explaining research on what more too much or MTM is. And then the last article, using obstacle software in math education, a module development and effects on self-regulated learning skill, written by Poppy Yaniawati, Jazim Altamar, Siti Zuraida, Met Osman, In Supianti, and Acep Saiful Malik. Published September 2000. Published September 2021. Research problem. What is self-regulated learning and technology using in math education? SRL is a workful point out that knowledge, motivation, and self-discipline are the factors that influence SRL. Number two, how to using Sigil software for show the initial Sigil software that is an open source editor software for EPUB. The open ebook replacement program that acts as an open book format is EPUB, which can be accessed from HTML, XML, CSS file that act as a single file with an EPUB extension. Conclusion, uh, this article is the student learn on their own whatever there is a teacher or there is no teacher. In addition, module product assessment by Sigil software consists of components which include table of content, concept maps, basic competence, learning object, history, and contextual problems, material, summaries, question, post-test, discussion, and reference in file. My suggestion for this article is number one, this module needs to be development again on other material because the study only material from enumeration rules was developed. Number two, the use of a module product assessed by Sigil software. The teacher should re-explain the material or a practice question contained in it. Number three, the teacher first explain about the product and its use with the aim that it is easy for students to understand the material present in the e-module product assessment by Sigil software. And then the last, because there is still a lack of prior knowledge of student and this has an impact on the test and learning process. For future research to conduct a more in-depth preliminary study of these mathematical problems. And then the lack of this article, in my opinion, this article lacked the style in explaining the use of Sigil software in learning mathematics. Yep, for this 7 Article 1 and Article 5 are almost the same because they discuss mathematics and education change. Similarly, Article 6 and Article 7 also discuss the use of software in mathematics learning. Thank you.